Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode number 10 of the Fake Racers podcast with me, Joe Twansky, and
Double digits, Davey, because episode 10.
let's go. Davey,
So,
did you think we'd get to 10 episodes?
well,
Be honest.
nah, probably not.
We were going to get to
one,
10.
one of those things we would just forget about, but we care.
We almost did.
Care.
Oh, that was more so like school.
Yes, correct.
Ooh, finals, man. It did not go
Oof.
well. I don't think, as someone that wants to do race car engineering, you'd think dynamics is a pretty easy class, and we'd figure that shit out. Ugh.
It's probably not an easy class.
It's not an easy class, and then to couple the fact that I have stupid brain when it comes to exams, and then, everyone else doesn't have stupid brain with exams because, it's Zoom University right now, so, everyone's on Zoom calls with each other during the exams and taking them together, and I'm just sitting here, brand new school all by myself. Anyways, that's a tangent. Hey, when I get that bad grade back and they're like, oh, you gotta take this class again, I'm gonna be like, well, Well.
No.
Sadness. Anyways, on this episode, as we promised, we're gonna talk about the Chevy development system. It's a little weird. Chevy's got a little funk going on. We'll talk about Davey, your race at Martinsville with the USORL boys, and we'll look ahead to this weekend at North Wilkesboro. Can you see? Can you tell in the excitement if you didn't watch the race on the various live streams we posted to our Twitter? Someone was a little happy at the end of the thing. And we'll also look at North Wilkesboro this weekend. We'll talk about some interesting stuff in F1 in regards to some exhibition drives out on the racetrack. And then we'll conclude by selling out and telling you where you can follow and find more information about us, and also trying to sell you some of that sweet JTN merch, which, again, link in the description below. There's some great prices, and it's so comfortable, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Davey, you ready to get into this thing?
No.
Oh. What you gotta say then?
We're not getting into it. Podcast over.
Darn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you guys
I know,
next
it's
week.
probably hard to accept.
See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's a good little turn there.
LMAO. It was a good little turn, Davey, and we're back. We got him. We made him think. Although they probably saw how long the video was. And they're probably
no, they didn't, because no.
Oh.
See, we're and then Chevrolet.
Chevy's driver development system, Davey. They like to call it the driver's edge program because you got to put fun names on things.
Yeah, weird. Don't get it.
This was actually, so this started the year that Chevy managed to get Noah Gragson away from Toyota, and put him in the 9 car at JRM, following up on Tyler Reddick's championship.
What a snag, huh?
So right now, the Chevy Driver's Edge development program, it is a joint venture between Junior Motorsports, GMS Racing, and then Chevrolet. How it works, it's they, get these guys, they'll bring them up through the program, whether they are, starting in Junior Motorsports late model program or with GMS and ARCA, and then GMS for trucks, and then up to Junior Motorsports and Xfinity. So limited seats, right? Because, and that's going to be in the 1 car for as long as he wants to. Allgaier's got the Brandt sponsorship, so he'll be in the 7 car, and he's definitely deserving of that ride.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you kind of have 2 cars there that you could figure out who could go in each of those, and you can run a 5th car down there in Xfinity, if you'd like. But it's a decent crop of drivers. This one is a lot more defined in what drivers are part of the program. There's a whole, you can go to their website, which is really cool. I think that's a good thing because the aim of this program is to focus on building the driver skills inside the car as well as outside the car, which, talking with sponsors, being a good brand ambassador, fostering those really good relationships. And we'll talk about a guy that's done a very good job of that. But from an outside perspective, Davey, that's obviously a lot of good stuff, right?
Oh yeah, good teams. Obviously, Chevrolet is Chevrolet. Good teams. I mean, jeez, it's not bad. Not bad being a Chevy development driver. I wouldn't know.
Call me, right?
Yeah, for God, call me please, Jesus.
Just put him in the car one time. I'm telling you, if he can win all these NR 2003 races, Dale Jr., if you're listening, you remember
Yep,
NR 2003?
he should know. He will know.
You know how hard it is.
That's exactly right. And if there's anything that's gonna get me a ride, it's my extensive NR 2003 experience.
Hey, it's Fake Racers Podcast for a reason, but Davey,
Joe.
this was like so I'm just a little. This isn't like Ford's development program, which we talked about on the last episode, so go check that out if you haven't right now, and then come back here, because I have a feeling we're going to reference it a little bit tonight. Ford's program is very much focused on a few drivers. They've really like to they pick a couple guys, they have a team in each series, it seems like. Maybe Xfinity isn't the right in that case, but they only had 2 cars, so like, I mean, not like here where you got a 5-car team. Ford seems to put a lot of backing behind their guys, and I honestly haven't seen or heard a lot about this driver's development program, driver's edge program.
Yeah, honestly, it's the first time I heard that it had a name, to be honest.
Oh, you didn't see the logos on all the trucks and the cars?
I feel like you're making a point.
I am making a point. They put the logos on the cars, but then they don't talk about them.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. No, I didn't even know that was. Truthfully, I had no idea that was actually the name of the program. I didn't even know that had a name. I just thought, oh, he's a young driver with Chevy. Chevy probably gives a shit about him.
Right.
Well, there's never anything like that. Yeah.
And they're very defined about the drivers that they do have in the program right now. So their website right now has the guys that were in the program for 2020. I have a feeling, and again, we're going to talk about the guys more in depth here in a couple minutes, but I have a feeling that pool will expand with some of the hirings at GMS. But again, it's a lot of focusing on that driver skill. But there hasn't been. It's even like TRD. TRD does for all the things that we'll talk about. TRD has done wrong. In terms of their program, they've done a lot of things right by getting their young drivers out there. Like, how many of these Chevy development guys would you actually know? Not a lot of them.
This is true. Yeah. Unless you're in the sport, you don't really recognize these names.
Yeah. So Toyota does a really good job, and Ford does a really good job of getting their drivers in front of the camera, which we've talked about. That's a big deal these days.
Gotta make headlines.
Exactly. That social media presence, especially, is very important. For sponsors, you look at, you can go back to, do you remember the Nature's Bakery scandal with Danica Patrick? Like,
oh my god.
Go back to that, and that should just show you how important it is to sponsors, the way that drivers interact with their fans and just overall on social media. So, with that in mind, Davey, do you want to start going through these drivers a little bit? You got any more impressions?
Yeah. I think I'm ready to start talking drivers.
All right, so I got them all listed out. I got them in order, but the guy I have at the top of the list, he's moving up to Xfinity halfway through next year. We were going to talk about it a few weeks ago, but Davey was getting a little silly season newsed out, so we decided to just push it back to this episode.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Sam Mayer, though, won the truck race at Bristol this last year, so very impressive for him with GMS. Was the 2020 ARCA East champion in the 6 races that series had. He won 5 of them. Huh?
Big honors.
Big honors. Hey, but he's winning, right? He won 5 ARCA Menard series races, so big ARCA, not East-West.
Yeah.
Won one of the 2 West races he was in. So he has done very, very well for himself. He also won the 2019 East Championship, it looks like, as for some reason Racing Reference has it split.
Oh, interesting.
With the K&N, and then, but so he's a 2-time East champion with 9 wins in 2 years.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, a good snag for Chevy for
Yes.
sure.
Hottest prospect on the block is what I wrote
Oh
down.
yeah, and I wasn't gonna say it. I was gonna let you say it, but he is indeed that.
Um, I think he's still a little rough around the edges with that social media type presence, because a lot of,
Mm,
you know,
yeah,
um,
I think and we're gonna get through this list here, but I think a lot of the guys on this list, bar maybe one, are kind of fall victim to that.
yep. So let's go back to the goal of this program, right? Let's tie it all up. Let's do our high school English essay. Tie
The
it all up.
conclusion.
The
That's
conclusion
not the
for this
conclusion.
paragraph. For this paragraph
Yes,
on
gotcha.
Sam Mayer
Understood.
in relation to the Driver's Edge program. Now Sam Mayer's been in it for 2 or 3 years now. 2 years. Um, how successful has it really been with a guy like Sam Mayer? If yes, he's out there winning races, and I think a lot of that is, a lot of that's due to his talent, but he's also in the better equipment, which
Hmm.
you don't get in the good equipment without good talent most of the time, or at least decent talent.
Hmm.
Um, because there's some guys in good equipment that don't have a good talent. I mean, oh, shocker! Ooh. I don't think anyone on this list though. Um, but that social media presence is kind of meh.
Yeah, I don't even know if I follow him on Twitter or anything. Like, to be honest, you know,
Hmm. I know I see him
social
up
media
on
presence.
there.
I seriously don't. I promise, I really don't. And like that's not me. Like how in the past I've said like, oh, I didn't get to watch truck racing. I didn't get to watch ARCA as much as I have in the past. That's not me like that. Like my entire feed is motorsports and racing and NASCAR and the young drivers. And Sam Mayer, as much as I heard about him during the season, just from winning the races he's won and the silly season stuff, I don't see him. I
Mhm.
don't see his tweets. I don't see him making any waves other than winning races, which is definitely not a
Which is the best way to make
uh
waves.
yeah, it's a great way to make waves, but it's not. It's what how is he keeping relevant besides his on track performance, which is it's not, it may not seem like a big deal, but it's important.
But again, he's a young guy. He's gonna have time. He's
Plenty
gonna have time in this
plenty of
pro.
time.
He's only turning 18 next year. I feel
Yep,
old.
exactly.
Um,
We're gonna ignore the age talk. I don't want to.
but it's a really good opportunity for him to move up to junior motors. So he's pretty much gonna skip trucks, which I honestly at this point I don't think that's a terrible idea because we still don't know what next gen looks like.
Correct.
Which we'll talk about in a few weeks actually. But
Whoo!
I know you're excited for that talk. But
Hmm.
I am gonna be dude's gonna win a lot of races. Dude's gonna win a lot of races, and he's gonna be really good, and he's gonna continue to get better. It is hard to come out of your shell though, at that age,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So I still have a hard time coming out of my shell. I don't know how I do this podcast, man. Anyways, moving on to a guy that has no problem coming out of his shell.
Yeah.
You remember the snowball? Was it the snowball derby or what race was it where he? I don't know. He tried to kiss the trophy girl. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about. Noah Gragson.
Mm.
Exploded onto the scene this year for some good reasons and also some bad reasons. He got fisticuffs with Harrison Burton at Kentucky, won at Daytona, moved his teammate out of the way at Bristol. Did he win any other? He won other races. Where else did he win?
Yeah.
Is
Not
that all he
much.
won?
Not much. He didn't win much. I mean, I'm sure,
Up front a
but
lot. Which is good.
he was
It was
near
an
the
improvement.
front.
Now Tyler Reddick won the championship in that car the year prior to him moving into it. Yeah, he only won those 2 races. Never mind. So it's 17 top 5s, 25 top 10s.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so Gregson on track. Talk about what your big deal with Gregson is with his on track stuff, and then we'll talk about the off track.
On track, like on track meaning how? Like
On the
what exactly do you
racetrack.
mean?
What don't you like about Noah
Uh,
Gregson? Because I think a lot of it has to do with the racetrack stuff.
um, he's he's and okay, so he talks a lot of game off the track for someone who kind of a little piss baby on the track. Not gonna lie. I mean, seriously, like he goes in there, sends it on Riley Herbst or whatever. Like obviously Riley Herbst is Riley Herbst, and no practice. Like it's time to go. It's it's a race, and like just like like shit like that, sending his teammate. I mean, he was a wrecking ball last season. It was kind of sad to see him continue to be someone that I dislike. Yeah, no, I can't really think of anything redeeming. I truly can't think of anything redeeming in his on-track performance. I mean, he's in one of the best cars on the grid, so I expect him to win a couple races and knock out, a bunch of top fives and stuff, which he did. I'm looking at the stats right here. 17. It's a good season, by all means, a very good season.
Led 622 laps too. That's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, he had a decent season. Didn't close out enough at all. I mean, straight up choked that one race to Harrison Burton. I mean,
yeah.
I can't even. I don't even think.
Texas.
Choke,
Texas.
yes, choke doesn't come close to describing what he did in that race.
Chase Elliott passed all those 9 choke vibes over to him.
Oh my god! I mean, seriously, that was bad. I mean, that was bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I think he really was getting pretty hot at the end of the season too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this was a guy that a lot of people pegged to take over the 48 if it wasn't going to be Larson, because he has money, right? He's got some money coming along with him, which, I mean, we can have this discussion all day about money versus talent, but in the end, money is going to win. We know that. I mean, you still have to be talented enough, right? You can't be me with money. And,
yeah, which is like, the thing is Noah Gragson is talented enough, and he will improve enough to, warrant him getting a seat with the funding that he has.
So,
in my opinion,
yeah. Well, I think there's a lot still there. He's got, like you said, he's got to rein it in a little bit. So I think if he can continue to start reining it in, which I think we saw him do later on in the season, after it sounded like he had to have a couple sit downs at the old team shop.
He got much more consistent. Like kind of right around the start of the playoffs.
Yes. But just have it, rein it in a little bit. Got a lot of speed in that 9 car. Got a really good crew chief in Dave Ellens. Just breathe, buddy, breathe. The one thing, though, that you can't knock Gragson for, well, it's 2 things, I guess. It's his social media presence and his ability to make a connection with the sponsor. At Daytona, and again, winning helps. Winning the race where the sponsor came onto the car definitely helps you get that sponsor to continue. We've seen it before, right? Yep. Won at Daytona with Bass Pro Shops and Black Rifle Coffee. And now I believe that is going to be his full-time sponsor this year. They're going to sponsor every single race, which is a good... Are they? I feel like they are. Hold on. J-Ski. But, Davey, talk about his social media prowess.
I mean, the dude makes headlines. I mean, he's his not being able to rein it in on the track for the first part of the season, it shines in his personality every once in a while. Good or bad, the guy is being talked about all the time. The fight with Harrison Burton, most of his Twitter antics, the little cheeky little pen emoji thing around the 48 announcement rumors and stuff like that. All that stuff. I mean, the dude is in the headlines, and you cannot fault him for that, because that's what you got to do. We're going to start sounding like a broken record talking about these young drivers and making headlines, but Noah Gragson is good at it. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with him or not, whether he comes across like an asshole, which he does to me, but
that's fair though.
Yeah, I mean, he does what he needs to do, and he gets his name out there, and the sponsors are happy because they get a bunch of visibility. I mean, the guy's on all sorts of social media. He's on Twitter, Instagram, and connects with the younger fans. He's on TikTok and stuff. That's what those sponsors want, and they know they're gonna get it with him, and that's the thing.
Well, and yeah, that's exactly the thing, Davey. I mean, he's gotten a sponsor to sponsor him full time outside of any connections that he has family wise.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. And making those connections with your sponsor, and it's a big deal, especially in a day and age where a lot of it is, oh, my mom or dad owns this business and they're going to sponsor for 7 races, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be in the best equipment for 7 races. I'm going to win 6 of them, so that way the team decides to foot the bill for the other races.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a bad way to do it, because if you can go out and win 6 races, you deserve to be in that car. But now he's got the staying power, right? He's still in Xfinity, 3rd year in Xfinity. That's not a bad thing, again, especially because there's not a lot of seats open in Cup right now.
No sense in moving up to a seat that isn't worth it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No sense in trying to get into the 43 car. There's no sense in trying to get into an RCR car if it's not going to be, which those are going to get better here, but no sense trying to get into the 37 or the 47. No sense in, not that those are bad teams, but they're not where you can have your name up front and starting to garner some interest from sponsors, or run mid-pack and back of the pack in Cup. The idea needs to be, hey, I got to run up front in Xfinity and win more consistently, which is what I think Gregson's probably going to hopefully do this year. In Xfinity to continue building his resume, but again, he's done a great job, and he's like I said earlier, he's that first guy in this Driver's Edge program. I think he's a really good example of, hey, if they taught him a lot of this stuff, which I'm assuming they taught him a lot of the sponsorship stuff at least.
Mm-hmm.
If they can continue to do that with these other guys that kind of, I think, need that sponsorship a little bit more, I think that's going to be a really good thing.
Agreed. 100%.
So enough about Noah Gragson. Let's talk about a champion. 2020 Truck Series champion, Sheldon Creed.
It's funny.
True.
I know it's true. I know it's very technically true. It's just the way it was framed is good.
Sheldon Creed. Oh, man. I like Sheldon Creed, man. He's a cool dude.
I'm trying to figure out if I like him or not.
He's actually the oldest guy in this development program.
But he's not that old, right?
I know. 97.
Oh.
So what would that make him? 23?
He's literally my age.
Yeah.
He is 25 days younger than me.
So, not that old. Actually,
literally
very young.
Looks like he's 32.
I know. But he was your 2020 Truck Series champion. He's going to run trucks again this year for GMS. Just because, again, I don't think there's a lot of... If you want to stay in this Driver's Edge program, and this is the fault of the program, there's only one place to go, and it's Junior Motorsports. And guess who has all their seats filled right now? But 5 wins on the year in the Truck Series for Creed, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, so wasn't as consistently in the top 5 out of the 23 races, only 9 of those, so what that ends up being just under half, so that's good, but average finish of 10.2 for the year, but Creed definitely improved a lot this year. He had the win at Kentucky, which he won because the race was rain shortened, and I think people were still really skeptical about him. And then he just went on a tear.
Yeah,
the rest of the year.
It was kind of ridiculous.
It was that, we always hear, oh, well, once, they're going to win one, and then the floodgates are going to open, and then you never see the floodgates actually open. We saw that. So he wins at Kentucky in the rain-shortened race, but then he goes on, wins the race that you were at the road course at Daytona, wins at Gateway, wins at Texas in the fall, and then wins the championship.
Huge momentum. I mean, it was absurd how good that team got once it got going.
Exactly. For Sheldon Creed, though, again, there's not a lot of there's a lot of down force below him to kind of, gonna start pushing him up. But there's nowhere to go. So, if you're a guy like Sheldon Creed, you're a champion, are you looking elsewhere? Are you looking in other programs, or do you think you have to stay committed to this Driver's Edge program?
I don't think it can hurt him to stay committed for another year or so. He's still very young.
Let me add one more thing.
Go ahead.
Yes, he's still very young, but remember, he is older than a lot of guys below him with similar experience levels. So that's the thing.
No, because I think we're a little bit I think we have this illusion that development drivers have to be the youngest drivers, that we have. I don't think that's true. I think that's a leftover feeling that's kind of even carried over by the development programs from all the driver development programs in the late 2000s and the early 2010s and stuff, where that was a huge thing. All these development contracts were being given out. I think that's a leftover emotion from that. I don't think it's a
Sentiment.
big deal that he's sentiment. I don't think it's a big deal that he's 23, going to be going on 24 next year, and still with the driver development program. If he's performing and he's a shining example, which he is because he's a champion of the improvement and the work that the Chevy program can do, then why not stay another year if they're cool with him staying another year, and explore your options at the end of this year.
I think that's what he's doing.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I agree. Then
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not up to Sheldon Creed news, so.
Well, and he's one of those guys too. I think has to do better on social media. But I think a lot of guys have to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
A lot of these guys have Twitter accounts that are untouched until like the Friday before race weekend,
mhm.
and then they make a
Which-
couple tweets, and it's the same thing. it's a repeating thing.
it's become such a big thing. Just the social media and trying to have a presence. I think we probably overvalue it, if anything, but that's
I don't
how it
think
is.
it's overvalued, but that's another story, I think.
Yeah. Moving on, Zane Smith, another guy that kind of exploded this year. A few years ago, he was actually, or 2 years ago now, I guess, he was actually running some races for Junior Motorsports in the 8 car.
I'm sorry. I like your note. I don't know if you forgot to finish it. The note for Zane Smith that we have in our show notes here. Won a few races last year, comma.
I kind of did these right before
That's
we started while I was waiting for you, so I was kind of like,
Well, it's a good thing I was late.
Exactly. Won 2 races this year. One at Michigan. Ayo, that's a tough place to win. Too bad the trucks aren't going there next year.
Man,
I'm sad about that. I'm really excited. I like the trucks. They put on the best racing at MIS too, and they're like, "Nah, we're gonna take them away." Like, okay, that's cool. Anyways, 2 wins, MIS and Dover. Zane Smith was Sam Mayer before Sam Mayer was Sam Mayer.
Ooh.
Right?
That's
I think
one,
he was that hot up and coming guy in the Chevy program, and then Sam Mayer comes along and kind of now is the hot up and coming guy. But Smith won. I just knocked my mic. Smith won. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Smith won 4 races in the ARCA Menard Series in 2018. En route to a second place finish in points. Also, he doesn't. He has 1 Cars Super Late Model Tour win, but 2 Truck Series wins, 10 races in Xfinity with 2 top 5s and 10 top 10s or 7 top 10s. Ugh, can't read. But Dan Smith, he's got a lot of experience considering. I mean, he was a rookie in trucks last year, technically, but he had a lot of experience in NASCAR going into that. So, what thoughts, opinions?
On Zane Smith, I mean, he had those standout races at the end of the season that were pretty impressive. Made some waves, made some headlines just on performance alone. It was pretty good. I think I said the same thing about him in another podcast. I think I've had this exact kind of thought on him. Made some waves at the end of the season, but outside of that, I don't really have a huge opinion on Zane Smith. I mean, hyped up and stuff, I understand, but it is what it is with Zane Smith. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Fuck.
It is what it is. We'll move on to another guy that it is what it is. Tyler Ankrum. Moved over from DGR Crosley this year to GMS and is now part of the Driver's Edge program. Not a great year for Ankrum though. Made the playoffs, so that's always a positive. I believe he might have been the last guy in. Won the race at Kentucky 2 years ago. Didn't win a race this year. Kind of had the same number of top 5s. Had 2 more top 10s.
Improvement.
But 3 more races this year too. So
shit.
Led less laps. In arguably probably better equipment.
Yeah, it wasn't a good year for Tyler Ingram.
But remember, 2018 K&N Pro Series East, 4 wins, 14 starts, won the championship.
And that's fun.
So
That's cool. 2019-2020 Cayman World Truck Series. 1 win.
hey, you won the last chance qualifier, the last chance qualifier in the Eldor Dirt Derby.
Derby. And I honestly on as far as young drivers go, I do have an opinion on Tyler Ingram. Always kind of struck me as not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna move up. I think he could have a decent career as a career truck or Xfinity driver, but I have not seen anything that would imply that he can
So Ben Rhodes.
keep moving up. Yeah,
That's
ass eater Ben Rhodes, as he is known by Joseph Weaver.
Yes. Shout out. What happened to
Shout out,
Weaver's
Joseph.
Word of the Week, or whatever?
We're still aren't we still we're gonna do it, right? Near the end of the show.
I didn't get a word.
You didn't get a word?
Mm-mm. I'm sure it was
What?
my fault though.
I thought he told us the word.
I didn't write it
Well,
down.
I got it. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Okay. Well,
Professional podcasting.
I'll remind you near the end of the show.
Professional podcasting, folks.
I'm not going to tell
That's
you
what
yet
we do.
what Weaver's word of the day is, but I will at the
Coming
end of the show.
soon. At the end of the show. Coming soon to a theater near you. So yeah, I guess I can kind of see that. I think obviously you got to step it up this year, but GMS adds guys this year too. So I don't know, man. GMS is kind of a mess. Yeah, a lot of guys.
It's just a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, remember
it's too much.
Remember a few years ago when did they end up buying it? But they were supposedly buying the BK Racing charter, and then someone else bought it.
I don't even know.
I think
can't
Front
lie.
Row bought it or something, and because I remember Gallagher was in the 23 car for a race at Watkins Glen, and that was a mess because they were trying to go cup racing, and then they had the Xfinity program for like a year, and then or a couple of years, and they cut it. Decided just to be trucks, but GMS, man,
it is kind of a little disorganized and.
From the outside looking in, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. But I'm sure they have a way to organize it. They only have the one ARCA team. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the
12 truck teams and one ARCA team.
It's almost like ARCA isn't very profitable or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, I put a question mark next to his name because he's part of GMS next year, and the next guy we'll talk about too. Chase Purdy. I don't know if you know anything about him. Anything? He's been in ARCA. I feel like he's been in ARCA a lot.
He hasn't done much.
He's got sponsorship, so that helps.
Sounds like that's about all he's got.
Sponsorship.
I don't remember him doing anything totally worthwhile.
He ran the full ARCA series in 2018. Had 10 top fives, 14 top 10s.
I remember. Yeah, he didn't win a race, did he?
And then he just doesn't have anything for 2019. And then did 7 truck races this last year with 1 top 10. So, hey, you got it. But he was part of NASCAR Next. So.
Yep. NASCAR Next driver Chase Purdy with an average finish of 21st.
20. Oh, yeah, this season.
Yeah.
Well, you know. We're trying.
Yeah, he'll be at GMS. He'll be a good field filler. Moving on.
Rafael Lassard. Hey, he won a race this year. He did. Won Talladega in the trucks.
I believe
KBM.
Yep, he won Dega.
Had an average finish of 15.3 in the KBM truck, although the KBM trucks have kind of been poo-poo the last couple of years. Almost like they took their best crew chief and they put it on the All-Star truck or something.
A little bit. Yeah, these things happen.
Hey, maybe we should not do that, but that's okay. Let's let Kyle Busch win more races. But hey, not going to judge. I'd want to win as many races, too, as I could.
But as far as, like, his last season in trucks, you never know what a change of team will do. Especially at that age, especially in these series where it could mean a lot to a driver to have a team that could check on their needs. I see drivers all the time talk about when they were younger. They just wanted to they just wanted to get a seat, and they just wanted to get a seat, and they just wanted to race, and that was all they wanted. And they didn't particularly take the time to ask for the things that maybe they should have asked for as far as comfort or any little thing that might help a driver excel where they are. Kyle Busch Motorsports doesn't seem like the kind of place where you're going to get babied.
Time. Yeah.
Time, yes, but babied is, and that's not necessarily a good word for it, but a place where you're going to have a team owner or a boss in any capacity that's going to be like, okay, let us know what you need. Do you need anything? Like, I feel like, if he's folded into the driver development program, he might get some of that, or he might, feel the empowerment because of that program or some training in that program or whatever they do. I don't know I don't know, but like maybe I'm kind of all over the place now. I forgot where I was going. No, I did. Okay, I've confused myself. Joe?
Okay. I get what you're saying.
I
Sometimes
was making a good point. I just forgot how to words at the end.
Yeah, it's the same thing I think for Eric Jones. A change of scenery is going to be very good.
I agree. Yes, that's a good comparison actually.
I think in Jones's case, he's definitely in a downgrade. I think in Lassard's case, we don't know yet. His whole deal is right now they're only got the first couple races sponsored, and they're looking for sponsorship for the rest of the year. So he's not guaranteed that full-time ride this upcoming season, so he's going to be looking for that sponsorship. But again, looking at a guy like Rafael Lassard, he's a Truck Series winner, right? Yeah, at Talladega,
Yep.
but still a winner. But there's something there, right? There's still time. You can't give up on these young drivers so quickly.
Yeah.
That's been the problem. They give up on these guys very quickly. It's almost it's like you said earlier, the age thing shouldn't matter. We shouldn't be so focused, young guys. Maybe we should give them a couple years to run short tracks around the country and ARCA and whatnot, and then start moving them into NASCAR National Touring Series instead of, being like, hey, you're 18, okay, time to run trucks full time.
Yeah. And we look at Rafael Lassard, and like, I'm not totally familiar with his season, but I seem to remember him being a lot more relevant near the end of the season than he was at the beginning. I don't think he was quite as consistent, but again, I remember I saw him a lot more often near the end of the season. There's improvement there, visible improvement.
Well, and don't forget the trend of we didn't have practice at a lot of races, and the rookie drivers seemed to struggle more than the guys that had experience.
Exactly. Again, that's this past season is a weird metric to judge drivers on.
But don't worry,
what we got to do. We're going to do it anyway.
KBM decided to cut both of their guys. Whatever. But yeah, that's all the guys that are in the Driver's Edge program. I got a couple extras on here. I know one of them you probably don't know too much about, but Carson Hocevar, he's from Michigan. Nice signed him as a development guy, so Chevy's weird. They kind of let their teams also sign development drivers. They don't have since they don't have the program through all the teams. So there's not as big of a relationship there, and I think that's why you see so many Chevy teams, because Chevy doesn't really care as much. Oh no, I said it. Oh,
he said the thing.
Oh, but Joe, they're building a campus in Charlotte, the Performance Center. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
The thing. Get them.
Good. They're trying to actually act like they care. Good. That's what they should do. They haven't for a while. Oh, Chevy's the most winning. Yeah, that's what happens when you have Hendrick Motorsports, Richard Childress Racing, and Stuart Haas Racing for the good part of the decade. Like, of course you're the most winning manufacturer. What are you talking about? But you've been getting your butts kicked since you lost Stuart Haas. Oh, crazy. Anyways.
A little weird.
Just weird, just trend. Whatever. Carson Hocevar, he won the Winchester 400 this year, so that's a big race to win up here in the Midwest. But when you're talking about other teams, when you're not necessarily not in the mothership with the manufacturer, especially in today's day and age, what kind of problems could that lead to for Mr. Hocevar?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, your mic on my end was all Woozy woozy.
If you're not part of the mothership with Chevy, what kind of problems
You're
did
good
you
now,
have?
by the way.
Okay. I was just taking my time to make sure it went across.
Dude, I have no clue. I have no fucking idea.
All right, let me answer my own question then. Problems.
There you go.
You're not going to have relationships with the same people. Probably not as good of relationships if you do have them, because they're not fostered by, hey, big boy manufacturer Chevrolet. Especially if you're a younger guy. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing either. It's just something you got to be mindful of. I think relationships are really important, it seems. So, foster those relationships with people in general. Anyways, I got a couple other names on here. We can talk about them. We don't have to talk about them. Because they're not really development guys now. They're kind of floaters. Myatt Snyder, he's going to be running the 2-car full-time this year with RCR, so good for him. Anthony Alfredo was part of that 21 program this last year with Snyder and Kaz Gralla. He's a question mark because he was a guy that was kind of, hey, maybe he'll be in the 10 car. And then they're like, no, Jeb Burton.
Jeb Burton, though.
Also Justin Haley, but I didn't put him on here because I kind of think he's past the development phase, if I'm being honest. Like, he's still developing, but I think he's kind of past this, like, which is a weird thought because he's been in the Xfinity Series the same number of seasons as Gregson, but I still see Gregson as a guy in development. So I think it's because I have faith in Colleague, I think is what it is.
There you go. Interesting.
But because he'll be in Cup race. He's a Cup winner, that's why. He's not in development, he's won a Cup race. Bam. Gotcha.
Damn.
Any thoughts about any of these guys before we move on to our next topic?
Love Myatt Snyder. I unfortunately...
Dude, social media is so good.
Oh, dude. And sponsors love him. Unfortunately, I think as much as I love the guy, and I think he's quite good, he underperformed in the chances he had this year. Outside of a few races, he underperformed in the equipment that he was in when he was with the RCR team.
Which could improve this year.
And that could improve now that he's going to be able to stay there and foster a relationship with the team. In general, though, last season underperformed. Hopefully they get that under.
But don't forget, he was driving 2 different cars all season long.
No, absolutely, and that's I know, yeah, and that's every time I saw him in the RCR car, I was like, oh, this is going to be a chance for Myatt Snyder to really make a thing happen. And truthfully, he didn't all that often. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he had a couple good runs. He was running up front at the end of the Charlotte Roval race, which is very impressive.
Right.
But overall, yes, exactly. Overall, should have done better, in my opinion. And hopefully he does this season because I really like him. Fast Pasta. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll stick around.
He has a funny name.
Funny name. I think he'll stick around. I don't think he's gonna make waves anytime soon. Of course, that could change. Mostly just really annoyed at how annoying he was during the iRacing stuff this season.
Oh my god. Dude, we all have those people in our leagues, but holy.
Anthony Alfredo was that guy.
Anthony Alfredo was the guy for the NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational until they said, okay, only Cup guys.
Anyway, and then Carson Hocevar, I don't know anything about him. If he's still doing not local short track stuff, if he's still doing short track stuff, he hasn't creeped up on my radar as far as young drivers. I'm a different.
Well, he'll be in trucks next year full time. So
form of motorsports as far as young drivers go.
Well, Davey, that's okay. But we're gonna move on to something that I think will interest you a lot.
Ooh.
And that topic, Davey, of course, is the United States Online Racing League Red Bull Cup Series. Y'all were at Martinsville. We didn't broadcast here on JTN. Tommy and I got the week off, like we'll have the week off this weekend. That's why it's important to go to our Twitter, because we'll post the links, or you can check out our Facebook too. But Twitter was where we'll post them, and then we'll post a link to the tweet thread on the Facebook page, where you can find all the streams, including yours, Davey. So they could just follow you once we get to the end, or click the link for your Twitch but whatever.
And they should. They should.
They should, right? They should.
There's a thing that should happen.
I mean, it's free, guys. Come on. Turn notifications on too. That would be even better. But if they were watching this past weekend, they would have saw a celebration from the 75 team, wouldn't they?
Oh my God! Yeah, we won. Yeah, we won. It was pretty cool. I was happy about it. Martinsville, one of my favorite tracks. I've tweeted this before, but I feel like short track, or asphalt short track racing is kind of my jam, and took down big dubs. Was fast all night. You love to
Yes.
see it. You love to see it.
Very fast. I see your face during the broadcast.
You got to see my face,
Beautiful.
and you'll be able to see it again.
Eventually.
Well,
This weekend.
not just eventually, but this weekend when we head to North Wilkesboro. Another week off for the JTN gang.
Yeah, they didn't want us coming there. They said it wasn't going to be good. They're like, just take this one off.
I'm telling you right now, that race is going to be really good. Ran the lights race.
Well,
First time this season I ran a lights race. What?
I'm going to have to talk to Tommy. Tommy was like, it was Wreckfest last year. But then we went to Anchorage, so, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No, and Martinsville actually wasn't a Wreckfest either. We got
I know.
A couple long runs. No, North Wilkesboro was a blast. Really, really interesting track. Really aggressive driving. Not necessarily like pushing or anything, but very aggressive. The tires are gonna wear, and there's gonna be guys sliding around, and it's a controllable slide as well, which is very exciting. You had the top 5 all kind of coming off the corners, skirting the right rear, not on purpose. It's gonna be a blast. If you guys want to see a show, you gotta tune in. It's gonna be very fun. Had top 5 speed. Got to dial in. Hopefully, get that extra little bit to keep up with Hong and Cal, who are up front the whole night. It's gonna be a blast. You better tune in on my Twitch, which I'll mention my Twitch again at the end of the show. Don't you worry.
Mention it now. Do it.
D7H5er with an ER at the end is my Twitch.
It's also linked below. So.
Linked below.
Unless you're on Spotify, then you gotta actually search for it, but that's on you because you're on Spotify. But we like Spotify, so thank you, Spotify.
Thank you for listening if you're listening on Spotify.
Yeah, those numbers we gotta boost those numbers. So share the podcast too while you're at it. Davey though, 2 wins on the season. That's gotta feel good. Got those playoff points.
It feels very good. I was very disappointed with my performance last season.
Yes.
Took down a couple wins, almost won the championship. Was about a half a track away from doing so, but I wasn't happy with my performance. I felt like I fell off a lot, and I took a lot of steps this season to get myself focused up and get myself really into the groove of things this time around this season. It's paying off. We're very quick, and I'm enjoying myself.
That's all you can ask for. Just enjoy yourself.
Keep an eye out for the Adidas Martini JTN Fake Racers podcast, Lux Beans machines.
Ooh, I love those sponsors. Those are my favorite things.
I love those sponsors too.
You get a good old can of Lux Beans.
I should get a can of Lux Beans when I run the Lux car.
You should just have it on the shelf behind you.
And I was talking to Tommy about this, by the way. I was talking to Tommy about this. Deadass, I was talking to Tommy about the Las Vegas race and how I ran the Lux Beans car. And I didn't even put it together to make a joke about Lux Beans at Las Vegas, the luck thing. Didn't even think about it.
Okay, we got you covered.
I know you guys had me covered, but that would have been such a if I would have said that in the interview, I would have literally sent that to Lux Beans. Like, hey, I know you sponsor the Parker Kligerman car in iRacing. We have something here. Can I at least be a part of that? I mean, look what I just did, and I would send them that clip. Like roll me into this deal. Let me talk to somebody. But I didn't think of it, and I'm mad.
Just let Davey get one interaction with Parker Kligerman per year.
Yeah,
Bam.
Exactly. And then one diecast ever.
Ever. They ever
that
make
isn't
one.
A custom.
Well.
Yeah, shit.
Those are expensive, man.
I know.
It's okay.
So I do have that one little custom of his Gaunt brothers car.
Gaunt.
I got the door. I got the door here.
Oh yeah, you did get the door.
I have more. I have more real Cup car Parker Kligerman stuff than I do official diecast merch of Parker Kligerman.
That's because I didn't make any.
All right, Pain.
Not his fault. Not his fault. The
Pain.
licensing stuff is stupid.
Pain.
Man, guys, I broke him. But you know something that makes him happy? We got some great Fake Racers podcast merch up on the Teespring. It's linked below. You can get your hoodies, shirts, die-cut stickers, which are really freaking nice.
I'm excited.
You
to
just
see.
slap one of those on the back of your laptop. Ooh.
Actually, you know what? Don't even slap them on a laptop. Next time you're at a racetrack, put it somewhere.
Ooh.
Put it somewhere.
I feel like they take it down, though.
Don't care. I'm putting it somewhere.
Let's go, Fake Racers podcast. I'm gonna make.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna make sure for MIS this year. I got like JTN merch on the whole weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Get JTM merch. Get the stickers. Slap that stuff everywhere.
I can make my own stickers.
I mean, I can make my own stickers too. So.
Well, bam. Well, bam. Daytona, look out. JTN stickers coming your way.
I mean, seriously, I will, and I'll take pictures, and it'll be a great social.
Oh,
excuse me. It'll be a great social media initiative.
That's the one thing I forgot to.
That's another thing. Oh my gosh!
I forgot to mention
that on
it.
purpose.
Check out. So later this week or sometime, because we're not broadcasting, we'll be broadcasting Sunday with the Hobo Racing League for their Christmas special race at, I forget what the track is, but it's gonna be fun. We'll be broadcasting that Sunday night, so make sure you come check us out. But we'll also this upcoming week, it's important to go follow our Twitter. We're trying to build that Twitter following now because y'all have been so supportive here on YouTube, on Spotify so far, and Facebook. Hey, let's build a Twitter now. Check over there. We're going to be asking people to send in your photos using hashtag JTN merch or something like that to be part of our broadcast for our advertisements for the merch. So send in your photos with the merch on, and you could see your face on a JTN broadcast. Or not. Sure. I mean, if you don't want it and you just want, like, neck down shot of you wearing the shirt or, you got to be wearing the shirt. You can't, like, take a picture of it on your bed. Like, come on. You got to...
Wear that shirt. Wear it proud.
You gotta rep it. Big smile. I'll make sure Davey posts a picture with his merch.
I will, and I'll do it.
To be like our example. But, yeah. So, we'll, after we've sold our souls out to you, let's get on to our next and final topic of the evening. That topic being, and this is one you added, talk about it a little bit. F1, they did an exhibition with old Alonso, 2005, right? Renault?
The 05 Renault, yes.
Talk about why were you kind of, I don't know if you're puzzled by it, but talk about it a little bit.
So it kind of caused a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a problem for Formula One. Formula One's a lot bigger than the Twitter space talking about this, but it caused a rift on Twitter where a lot of people were questioning why just a single lap from the 2005 Renault F1 car with the screaming V10 in it sounds amazing. Why that car was captivating so many people and why that excitement doesn't exist for Formula One cars today. There's a lot of factors to that. Joe, you seem to not really agree with anything that I was kind of saying.
Well, you guys say it.
Well, I think that the cars back then, as a singular entity, were more exciting. I'm not saying the racing was more exciting. I am not saying that the drivers are any more daring back then than they are today. I'm just saying that the cars themselves, the screaming V10, the car looks alive on the circuit, those cars are exciting. And it did kind of resonate with me that when I watched that car go around a racetrack, especially now that it's not 2005, we have HD cameras and we're at this beautiful facility that is Abu Dhabi, the circuit. I got a buzz watching it. Like it was I got an absolute buzz watching that car go around that racetrack. You look on the pit straight and in the video that they posted, and team members are lining the pit wall to watch this car scream past them. 2020 Formula One cars don't have that for me at all. It's not the same buzz. Another person posted a video in the replies to the official Formula One tweet of the video going around the track. They posted a video from across like the river or across like the like a far away
Away.
from the racetrack.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you just hear every gear shift, every little sound that car is making. You hear it from all the way that video is being taken from. And like that's amazing to me. That's so cool, and that was what F1 really was. And that's not. I'm not trying to be like a guy that lives in the past, because Formula One today is as competitive and as exciting as it has ever been. And I love Formula One. Formula One is a spectacle still today. Just the speed and the grip. I'm not saying that the cars back then were. And it's just a fact that they're not as fast as the cars today. The cars today are absolutely spectacular. But there was something about hearing that car, seeing that car, experiencing that car, the culture of fearlessness around that car, not necessarily with the drivers being heroic, brave heroes, but just the engineering and the sounds and the experience. It's different. It's different. It's different today than it was back then. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know where that's going to lead us or if that had any actual effect. But it was interesting to see the wake that came in, or the wake that came in that video's release.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think it's something unique, right? I think we this year in motorsports very prominent, but I'll take you out of the side of motorsports. Let's talk about hockey. I like hockey. Hockey fans. There's a lot of people that say, "Hey, we got to go back to fights. There's no fighting in hockey anymore. What the heck? Why is that?" Well, because you don't have people going around doing stupid stuff, right? You don't have people flying around the ice, killing people, cross-checkings down, and just a bunch of stuff like that, right? A bunch of those violent plays, they're gone because they're not good, and that's what was causing people to get hurt. So since there's less of those plays, there's less reasons to fight, so there's less fights. And also, it's discouraged a lot more than it used to be. Talk about motorsports. That idea of, hey, it was good, it used to be really good, now it's not. Or at least not maybe for the same reasons. Because like you said, F1 is very competitive compared to what it was at different times in its history, but that's cycles. Everything in life is cyclical. I had to say that word slow because, I would butcher it. I got like a little blah, 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 I didn't notice the F1 stuff. I saw people like in a big commotion. Yeah, it's really cool to hear the screaming V10 and all that. Like, your points are all, I agree. Agree with the points. I'm gonna propose this though. That's just how we are as motorsports fans. We always want something we don't have anymore. If for a long time, I'm more familiar with NASCAR, so that's where I'm going to go, obviously. Oh, let's go back to dirt. We went back to dirt with trucks. Did it put on a good show? Yeah. Dirt people said it put on a bad show. But non-dirt people that just watch NASCAR, oh, that was a good show. That was fun because it was unique. And it was something we went back to, so we said, hey, let's do it again. And let's do it again. Do it again. Cars. Oh, Gen 4 was so great. Gen 4 was so good. Twisted Sister. Oh my gosh. Beautiful cars.
All right.
A lot of engineering, right?
Easy.
It's not saying those opinions are wrong. But those opinions are coming from a place of, but yeah, what we have right now sucks compared to that. Which
I think it's different though. I don't think NASCAR has undergone a change as drastic as Formula One.
I disagree.
I mean, you're talking about an entire. You're talking about, like full developments of cars down the line. Full regulation, like multiple regulation changes down the line, from a V10 to a V6 turbo. I mean, that's a jump.
Yeah.
From what, like I struggle to look back at NASCAR and think, oh, NASCAR is synonymous with XYZ thing. I can look at Formula One and say, oh, Formula One is synonymous with that sound.
Yeah.
Or Formula One is synonymous with that. I can't say the same thing about NASCAR because I don't think it's particularly synonymous with anything besides oil racing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the change is as drastic in NASCAR because we're still doing more or less the same things. The technology hasn't advanced at all. Truthfully, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, technology has not advanced almost at all. We don't have a carburetor anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I think I agree with you in the sense of like it's just people being like, "Man, I want the old thing back."
It's
Like it is that.
nostalgia. It's just
It is that. It
nostalgia.
is. I don't think it's just nostalgia. It's a
I
lot
do.
nostalgia, but I don't think it's just nostalgia. I think that there is something in the poetry of of an old V10 Formula One car, or even if it were a V8 for that matter. That I mean that again, that sound is synonymous with Formula One, and I struggle to hear the V6, and I think the V6 sounds lovely. Oh my god, it is a nice sounding race car, and V6 is I'm not one of those weird people who's like, oh, V6, that's not racing. There's got to be a V8, and it's got to scream.
Mhm.
Like IndyCar V6s, for example, sound amazing.
Mhm.
But that doesn't it doesn't, and I don't want to say that Formula One is defined by any one thing, but that doesn't sound like Formula One. You know, like it or not, whether that's a selling factor of Formula One. I'm not trying to be like a boomer, but like it just doesn't sound like Formula One to me. And then you
Mhm.
listen to that car, and it's like, oh my god, that is a Formula One car, the '05 car. I mean,
Yeah, but that '05 car doesn't sound like a Formula One car to someone that didn't grow up with that either. You know, I mean,
and that's
and
fair. That's fair.
that's a very like specific example. That's probably not fair to make in an argument, but it is it's a fair point. Um, Formula One though is synonymous with hey, technological advances that we can apply to our cars, right?
Hmm.
Why you switch to a V6 when you're at a V10 or a V8 or whatever you're at? Well, because most passenger cars today have V6s. They don't have
Oh,
V8s, and that's
absolutely,
and
absolutely. No, I agree with you. Yes.
and if you are F1 and your goal is to try to make what what your manufacturers, what your builders, instructors, um, if your goal is to make it as relevant to their what they actually do for business, right? Because Mercedes is in the car selling business, not the F1 business.
Hmm.
The F1 business is just a branch of that. You want to make those developments that they make in the racing make sense for the manufacturer, the OEM.
Oh, and this is not lost on me.
Right.
The reason that I wanted to talk about this was because I've never seen such a widespread, not only discussion but general like agreement that is an era that will be dearly missed. Like just the culture shock that some people had, like watching that car go around that racetrack in today. It was interesting to watch, and I'm sure we will talk further about what makes sense for Formula One, because you're right. You're 100% right. Uh, I was just more intrigued by the response. I was intrigued by by people's opinions and what people were saying, and more so the questions people were asking because of the video,
Hmm.
not necessarily what does this mean for F1. It doesn't mean shit for F1, but I thought it posed good questions.
No, it does, and it definitely
Yes.
does. And I just, when we're gonna talk about NASCAR next gen here down the road, and
Also, and this
this is
discussion will be very relevant.
exactly because a lot of what they're trying to do with that car is make it relevant to the OEMs.
Hmm.
And again, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll talk about too. But in the case of F1, that's why you're not going back to that. I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure they could figure out a way to make the exhaust or manufacture, part of the engine block so the
Hmm.
the sound resonance would match that pitch, and then it'd sound like there's so much you could probably do if that's
Oh yeah.
because when they're designing these things, that's not your engineering design goal. That's not your design goal is to make it as efficient and powerful as you can. It's not to make it sound cool. Dude, it could sound like it's farting down the straightaway, but if it's fast, it's fast, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
so. But Yeah, I think that was a good topic, though, Davey. I think it's a good thing to talk about because it's very relevant to any type of motorsports when we have these discussions about car changes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you saying though, like NASCAR hasn't been through that like shift. I think there was that shift when we went from Gen 4 to COT. I think we're gonna have that shift again now, Gen 6 to next gen, just because
I don't
next
think
gen
we've
is
had
the
that
biggest shift.
I don't think that's a shift. I think that you change the composition of the chassis, and all you're doing that doesn't do it. The fans don't give a shit about that. They don't see that. That's not a thing that they can. I mean, they see the wing and they see the splitter and they see that the cars are a little bigger. But other than that, like it's still a cup car. It's still a blocky race car on an oval racetrack. I don't think that changes anything. All that does is change the type of equity that a team has, which is
Nothing.
it's yeah, exactly. The equity a team has is its shop and the fucking tools inside of it. The cars are relatively inexpensive compared to that.
Yeah.
It's the innovations that they do to the cars afterwards. It's not in their chassis and stuff. Either regardless. This is a good. I am excited for next gen because of topics like that.
Regardless, ending the episode, leaving you with a little taste for more in your mouth. Next week we'll be talking about TRD. It'll be fun. Toyota Racing Development and their driver development program.
Oh my god, it's gonna be the Christmas episode. We gotta do something Christmas related. Wait, no, Joe, stop what you're doing. Weaver's word of the day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Weaver's word of the day to round us off. I'm gonna need. I gotta get.
You sound
him...
excited.
I am excited.
Okay, good. I was joking. I was being sarcastic. Okay. Weaver's word of the day today is mobile chicane.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mobile chicane. Moving chicane. I like to scream this word when I suck. Or during practice, you just start like weaving back and forth.
Mobile chicane. Just yell it.
Moving chicane. Well, moving chicane, but yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Same difference. What's a mobile chicane, Davey?
Well, moving / mobile chicane comes in many forms.
Yes.
It is a driver that is slow and in the way on the racing surface.
That sucks.
Some synonyms: Quinn Huff.
Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
Some cinnamons.
Yeah, some cinnamons. Cinnamons.
Synonym. That was a tough word to say in like second grade. Synonym. Oof.
I mean,
tongue twister.
Maybe for some of us.
You know what? Who's in charge here?
We'll ask the fans that. They'll probably say me.
Probably, because I think more people that know you probably listen to this than know me.
Joe is an enigma.
What do you mean by that?
You're an enigma. Yeah, that's what I said. Are we done? Are we done yet? Is this over?
No, because Davey, you gotta plug all your stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I did my Twitch earlier, but I'll
do it again.
My Twitch is there's no at. It's D7H5 with an ER at the end.
Linked below.
Link below. My Instagram is at D7H5.
Linked below.
Link below. Oh wait, I got it this time.
Okay.
And then my Twitter is at Davey Hazard. Link below.
Let's go.
I had to wait, give us some intrigue.
I also have my links below, but the best way, again, to support JTN is to go over to our Facebook page, give us a like over there, get the notifications for any time we post, because we'll post when we're live streaming. If you're on Spotify, giving the podcast a follow, it'll give you notifications anytime a new episode is uploaded. I believe this is the only podcast I have notifications enabled for, just to make sure I see that the episodes go up on there. Again, thank you so much. Make sure, too, if you're on YouTube and you haven't hit the subscribe button, what are you doing, man? Like, come on. Get serious.
Yeah, honestly, follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to JTN on YouTube. That's important.
That's very important.
Also, I would like to add that talking about merch, many people have been buying the USORL shirt.
Yes.
It seems to be popular. I saw it on Snapchat again today in the USORL group Snapchat. Don't ask to get in there. It's a very exclusive club.
I'm not even in there.
I know.
Very exclusive.
Um,
Ouch.
yeah, very popular. Very popular. Very popular merch.
That's good.
I for one am partial to the Fake Racers podcast merch, but don't tell anybody.
I wonder why.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a cool logo. I mean, it's just a cool logo. I wonder who came up with that.
I think it may have been a team effort. I think I did. I think I did some of it, and then Joe did some of it.
I think
and
Davey and Creative came up with it, and then Joe and Design finished it.
This is fair.
You know, Davey and Creative, not you, Davey, but Davey and Creative down the hall here at JTN Plaza Tower, whatever we are. If you want to find more from me, though, you can head over to my Twitch, JoeTo2. I think that should be linked below. But again, best way to help support us at JTN is follow all our socials. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Like the video, share it with your friends, and continue the conversation with us in the comments or on Twitter. We would love to have some banter with you guys. It's always a good time here at JTN.
Yeah, if you see the podcast tweet and you listen to the podcast and you have something you want to get off your chest or something you want to give us a piece of your mind, tell us. Reply to the tweets, and then we'll talk about it in the podcast.
We would love some fan interaction. You got questions for us? We'd have a mailbag segment.
We could have it.
Now,
I'd have it.
Now, it won't be like the questions I answer when we're doing the broadcasts, but here we are. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for listening this week. Next week we'll be talking TRD. I don't think there's any racing, so we'll just talk about TRD next week, so that'll be fun. We'll talk about your exploits in North Wilkesboro. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun to hear about. And we will see you guys, and you'll hear us next time on the Fake Racers podcast.
See you guys around, and thank you for listening.